Now, I was just a boy at the time when this drinking Uncle Hiram of mine decided he'd make up a batch of homemade beer. Don't tell a soul, he said to me, but I've come across this recipe that says for pennies a day I could drink all year. So I searched the alleys behind the bars for empty jugs and mason jars and sneaked them down to his basement brewery. He measured out yeast, then sugar, then hops, and said to me as he sealed the tops, "For goodness sakes, don't you tell your Aunt Marie." 'Cause she'd say, "Hey there, Hiram, what's going on down there? There's some peculiar odor coming up the basement stairs. Go back to your sewing, hon, I'm varnishing a chair. Time my Uncle Hiram made his famous homemade beer." We let her sit about a month or so, then me and Uncle sneaked down below, figuring it was time to give it a try. I was standing there at the foot of the stairs, and Uncle Hiram was a-checking the wares when all of a sudden 2 bottles just blew sky high. Well, the jars went crash, the lids went thunk, and Uncle Hiram dived behind a trunk, and as the beer began to spew out on the floor, he yelled out, "Don't mind me, save yourself." So as fast as I could, I ran up the steps, and out of breath, I quickly slammed the door. Aunt Marie came crying, "What is it, dear?" I said, "It's Uncle's homemade beer. It's blowing up and got Uncle trapped down there." She said, "Beer, beer." Well, I declare, "Hiram, you come up out of there." But the sound of exploding beer was all we could hear. "Hey there, Hiram, what's going on down there? There's some peculiar odor coming up the basement stairs. Go back to your sewing, hon, I'm varnishing a chair. Time my Uncle Hiram made his famous homemade beer." Well, it sounded like a war for a day and a night. Bottles just blew up left and right, till finally we just heard one here and there. Aunt Marie took a comforter and held it up in the front of her, and together we descended the basement stairs. Well, the place was a mess, to say the least. The walls were sticky and smelled like yeast. The beer in the jars and lids lay all around. There had been quite a battle, there was no doubt, but when we began to look about, Uncle Hiram was nowhere to be found. Aunt Marie cried out, "Hiram, poor dear, you've been killed by a jar of beer. I warned you to drink, but you never listened to me." Then up came the lid on the antique trunk. There, soaked in beer, blind, running drunk, was the late lamented love of Aunt Marie. He said I couldn't see it all go to waste. Decided I might as well have a little taste. I've tasted 158 jars of beer. Y'all can go on, because I'm going to stay right here. Hey there, Hiram, what's going on down there? There's some peculiar odor coming up the basement stairs. Go back to your sewing, hon, I'm varnishing a chair. Time my Uncle Hiram made his famous homemade beer.